product distribution south of Tiantec is happening simultaneously as we speak in Arima, in the east, Central. It's also happening in Tobago. And let me just say again that the action you see happen here in San Fernando is happening simultaneously as we speak in Tobago, Tiantec Tobago. It's happening in Tiantec Arima. It's happening in Tiantec Central. It's happening in Tiantec Port of Spain, and of course right here in San Fernando. In other words, from 6:30 this morning to 7 o'clock this morning, workers throughout Tiantec establishment, they are protesting a number of issues. And I want to list for you this morning the items that they are protesting. Of course, I am not going to shun or to back away from the idea or the notion that the Tiantec workers have not been had an increase since 2014, and they, like everybody else, deserve a proper and decent rate increase. They have not had that, and while they are not been given that, they still have to perform diligently every day. And what we see happening in this country is that the country continues to benefit from a reliable supply of electricity, notwithstanding. But these workers are risking their lives, they are risking their health and safety, life and limb, to provide that commodity at the expense of an uncaring management, not addressing a number of issues. And we want to put those issues on the table this morning. The first thing we want to say that there's a backlog of survey and damage appliance reports in the utilization section of Tiantec, and that department is not properly staffed. And therefore, if you find that you have made reports with respect to your appliances and so on being damaged as a result of power surges and so on with electricity in Tiantec, and they are taking long, it is a result of that department not properly staffed. Customers are paying for jobs, line extension and so on, installation of transformers, etc. But they are experiencing long delays due to the shortage of materials and so on, and of course, the common problem of manpower shortage. The not filling of vacancies, but the using of contractors. And I want to make the point that wherever there's contractors, there's corruption. Yeah? And that is not to be taken lightly. And in this period here, we are seeing more and more infiltration of contractors that is not being able to explain. And as they cannot find the explanation for that high level of contractors and contract work, follow the money, and you will see at the end of it, it has to do with corruption. So corruption is also affecting Tiantec's operation. But I come back to the central point of vacancies. They are not filling vacancies. And we are seeing where the retired workers are being asked to come back. They themselves are being made contractors to join the corrupt man. I want to talk to those retirees, Tiantec retirees this morning. Leave Tiantec installation and collect your pension and relax yourself. Because as you get involved in contract work, what in fact you do, you encourage the commission to not fill vacancies and so on, and you are part of the corrupt problem. And we are going to be very soon identifying the names of all of those past employees who are now on the contractor list, benefiting from a contract system, a corrupt contract system in Tiantec, and it is wrong, and so we want them to back off. So some areas have no reconnection and disconnection crews and so on, and that itself is as a result of the issue of not filling vacancy. All right, and the workers are being forced to use defective equipment and so on, defective material, defective equipment like voltmeters and so on, that are not properly tested and calibrated. And when they do that just to keep the job going, what in fact they do, they put themselves at risk. And we could be facing, not too long from now, if this is allowed to continue, we could be very well facing fatality and so on. And that is what we want to prevent. So there's heaps of scrap materials and so on, the health hazard all over the place that is not being addressed, and that itself also produces health and safety hazard. Oil from transformers leaking at those substations, oil from transformers leaking into the environment, into the earth, and so on, and into our water courses. People don't know that. So when you find you're getting all kinds of different unexplained illnesses, which the doctors can't diagnose, it has to do with leaching of the soil with respect to transformers leaking. And the commission, despite all of these reports that are being made to them, there's nothing is being done about that. And then the one that we see these vehicles on the road, right? These trucks rolling, TNTEC trucks. But the majority of those trucks have numerous defects. They are not roadworthy. And so the workers now have to board these defective vehicles to go and perform emergency response and so on, the emergency crews and those crews that traverse the communities and across the country. These problems that I have listed here, it is common to all of the areas in TNTEC. You have a situation where you have long delay in the response for street lighting. So you have many areas in this country where the lights go out, the street lighting go out, and it is not being responded to in a timely manner, and that adds to creating an environment in this high crime situation. In Trinidad and Tobago, there are a number of factors responsible for the crime and criminal activity that we are seeing happening in the country today. And TNTEC, through its lack of proper staffing and manpower and responding to the needs of repairing those lights and so on in certain areas, they are part of the problem. And we are saying that the shortage of manpower, which the workers are complaining about, which really, if you don't address that, what it does, it puts at risk the life and limbs of those workers. I want to say this morning that we can't hold this for much longer, you know. And you see where health and safety and life and limb is concerned, the OWTU is very serious about that. We have an uncompromising position in that regard. And if it is that the commission would want to manage their operations by public relations and following what the workers are doing, that they are protesting, coming out every morning and protesting, and the commission want to spin that into something else and to tell the public that all is well at TNTEC, all is not well at TNTEC. And therefore, insofar as those things are concerned, we cannot guarantee you, we cannot hold it much longer. We cannot encourage the workers to stay in an environment that is unsafe, clearly. And clearly, by what I've identified here this morning, there are a number of issues that ought to be addressed. These issues are being raised with the management at the zone safety meetings and so on, and at the high-level safety meeting. But workers and the representatives, they are losing confidence because they are making the reports, just like how you make report to the police and nothing is done. They are making the report